Hello and welcome to ACJ Newsline. I'm Sumedha and today we'll be talking about the BRICS Summit that took place in Goa last week. We have Utsav with us to discuss the happenings of this summit. Hello Utsav, thank you
Hello.
for being here. Utsav, one of the most important things that happened at the BRICS Summit was Narendra Modi's speech where he talked about cross-border terrorism. So the speech was much talked about and garnered a lot of reactions. What's your take on that?
So yeah, Modi made a very powerful, very strong statement rather on issue of terrorism. This comes in the wake of attacks on India, also in the wake of surgical strike which happened few days back.
Yeah.
So India is trying to project itself more aggressively in BRICS Summit because it has tried to isolate Pakistan in some or the other way. Also, we see statement from Chinese foreign ministry, and they are supporting Pakistan and calling it a victim of terrorism. Also, they stated that Pakistan has made sacrifices and they have tried to prevent terrorism, whereas like terrorism is problem of both India and Pakistan. So that is one issue with that.
So Modi in his speech called Pakistan, referred to Pakistan without really naming it, as the mothership of terrorism and called terrorist its favorite child, and all of that happened. But cross-border terrorism, the phrase has found absolutely no mention in the declaration. What do you have to say about that?
So the final draft of the declaration is by all the 5 countries.
Yeah.
So there is a statement by India's External Affairs Ministry which says that since cross-border terrorism is in context of India and Pakistan and it has nothing to do with other countries, so all the countries have abandoned that phrase and they have spoken about terrorism in global context which affects all the countries.
Alright. Which are these terrorist organizations that have found mention in the declaration?
So organizations like Jabhat al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda and ISIS to be more prominent one, these are named in the declaration.
Does this not show Russia's growing power and dominance? Because the highlight of the declaration has become ISIS and it validates Russia's actions right now.
Yeah, so Russia has very dominantly projected itself and it was successful in making others accept its demand by accepting ISIS as a terrorist organization. All the nations in the declaration, they have in some or the other way justified Russia's cause of war in Syria in supporting Bashar al-Assad.
So India has found absolutely no backing in other countries where cross-border terrorism is concerned, whereas Pakistan has found a lot of backing with China, clearly. So some contradictions within the BRICS members. Who is actually benefiting from the declaration? Who are the actual beneficiaries?
So if we see in BRICS Summit, China was supporting Pakistan, whereas India could not get any other country to support it. Russia, which used to be a long time friend of India, and Modi even referred to Russia as an old friend in the summit. Still, we could not get other countries to condemn Pakistan's act of terrorism, whereas Russia, in some or the other way, it was able to justify its cause of war in Syria by mentioning ISIS in the declaration.
Alright. So that was about terrorism being discussed at the summit. That was one of the major issues that was highlighted. What were the other issues that were brought to the forefront during the summit?
So other major issues like on climate, all the countries of BRICS they supported the Paris Summit. Then secondly, all the countries they supported, they pitched in for IMF reforms. IMF gives quota to each and every country depending on their status in global economy. BRICS economies which are still developing, they also seek some or the other kind of increase in that quota so that they could have more power and more say in IMF. So those were the other issues with the convention.
Also, there's some mention about the SDGs, I think, the sustainable development.
So about SDGs, all the BRICS countries have sought funds from developing countries, like 0.7% of their
gross national product, right?
GNP. So that is one thing with the SDGs, to meet the SDG goals, these countries seek some funds.
Alright. Thank you so much for being here, sir. This was all for today. Thank you for joining us. We will see you again.